Happy New Year 2024. Not quite for me just yet. I'm speaking to you from the past, from the 28th of December, which I believe is a Thursday. Don't let those opening shots fool you. They were from Boxing Day when we went for a Christmas walk, and it was lovely and peaceful. Everything was so still and serene, and it was wonderful because we haven't had that for so long with all these storms and windy weather. But it was short-lived because then we had Storm Gerrit come through yesterday, the last couple of days. It's done a bit of damage. So on the walk this morning, we saw one of the trees had come down on the park. Haven't been onto the plot to check what that's looking like at the moment, but we have had a break in the stormy weather and the sun has come out. So I've decided to come out into the greenhouse and sow some onion seed. I've rather dragged myself out. You can probably hear that I'm suffering from a cold. It's fine, it'll be fine. But yeah, I caught Liam's Christmas cold. But I told Rach from our allotment plots that I would come out today and do my onions, so I'm doing it. Now, it's traditional to sow onions on Boxing Day. I did not sow my onions on Boxing Day because I was just having fun, but I'm not too far behind, and I have got some onion seed to sow. Now, I've got some also on order because a lot of channels are doing like grow alongs and with particular varieties, so I have put an order in and they should be with us soon. But in my folder I had already got Bedfordshire Champion, which is one that you can sow indoors from January, and also Long Red Florence, which is one that I grew, well, both of these are seed from last year, so I attempted to grow, but I grew my onions much later last year, and they are still tiny in the garden. So whether they'll do anything now, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like it's just like I've left them in as onion sets, so maybe we'll get something from them. Now, this one is also so January to March, and it only needs a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius. So Rach was saying she was going to put hers in a propagator, but my house, although my house is not that warm, it's at least 14 degrees. So I'm going to just put them on the windowsill. Now, the other things I got out while I was looking for the onions was a leek called Leek Atlanta. And this one says you can sow in trays or modules indoors in winter. So I thought I might give an early leek a go, being that my leeks also not hugely impressive because done too late. And we will talk about sort of plans for the new year and resolutions and such. But one of my resolutions has to be to sow on time. I must start sowing things on time. The other one was a spring onion called North Holland Blood Red. So I thought might as well put a spring onion in while I'm doing it. And the other thing I got out was my wild garlic seeds, so ramsons. And this you plant direct, and I've only got like a few little seeds. I've already got some wild garlic at the back of the garden in my invasive patch, but I did think I could put a few of these just in this spare bit of soil that I've kind of got that nothing really does much in by the house. So I'm going to put that in there, and if it does end up going rampant, I don't really mind that in that area. I feel more like it will do nothing. It will do nothing, but I'm going to pop that in. So that's the one to go direct, but the rest of these need to go. I can't decide, shall I put them in cells or shall I put them in a tray for pricking out? The Bedfordshire Champion has quite good, it's a Fothergill's, has quite good instructions, and that recommends a tray. So I'm going to do trays. Okay, cool. I think I'll use these ones, the Stewart ones that Jessie from Plot 37 recommends so much. They eventually did them in our garden centre locally as well, so if I need more I can always get them now, which is good because they can be difficult to find. Actually, I have quite a lot of them now. Oh, before we start sowing, I am modelling some of my Christmas presents today. There's a lovely hat that was knitted by my neighbour. So I'm really chuffed with that, but check this out. Oh no, I've got pajama bottoms on. I forgot about that. I thought, oh, I don't need to change, you'll only see the top half. Anyway, this is an apron that my aunt made. Isn't she clever? And it is a gardening apron, which is why it's quite short. When I first opened it, I thought she'd made me a children's apron, but yes, it's short so you can bend and things when you're gardening. And it's got these really great wide pockets, and already I had the seed in as I walked down. I thought these pockets are brilliant. Anyway, let's get on with sowing these onions. Very well prepared for doing these, and I haven't got any sort of nice compost in, so I'm just using whatever was in the bucket, which was a bit fibrous and had grit and perlite in. So I've sieved it. There's still some grit in there. I think it will be fine. But when I cover these seeds, I'm just going to cover with perlite, I think, so as not to bury any of the quite small seed under bits of grit. Okay, so let's sprinkle some of the onion seed on. So one of the things that I want to get better at this year, that I've hopefully learnt my lesson from last year, is to label. And the other thing that I want to get better at this year, and I'm already failing, is using good compost. So one of the big mistakes that I made last year was relying on seed compost for far too long. So I'm not actually going to bother with seed compost this year because I can't trust myself to transplant things quickly enough. And yeah, the stuff that I did in the seed compost, it wasn't necessarily the fault of the compost, but more user error in that I kept things in for far too long. So I'm just going to get multi-purpose compost this year, and I'm going to think about what I'm growing, like what needs a little bit more quality. So for instance, the chilies, because I could feasibly start sowing chilies right now, but I want to make sure I've actually got some good compost in for when I start those. I think the onions will cope with whatever's going on in this particular mix, but the chilies I think need some quality compost. Okay, so we've done the leek, and now just the spring onion, North Holland Blood Red. I have still got spring onions in the garden, which they just, I mean, usually you succession sow spring onions because they grow quickly and then you use them and the next lot goes out. But they took all year to grow. I don't quite know what went wrong there. I have mentioned before about amending the soil in those beds. That's something really that's going on my list for this year. Started raining. I don't know if you noticed. I told you that that good weather was going to be short-lived. Right, let's write my label for this one. Oh, quite blowy again now. Once I've done this, I'm going in and it's calling it day done. Getting on the sofa, under my blanket, putting a film on. Oh, and I've got my very last Christmas dinner to eat. So I've been eating leftovers. So what was Christmas? Monday, we're now on Thursday. A full plate of like Christmas dinner every day since then. But I've got my last one now. And I'm actually just cooking a bit more red cabbage because I bought a red cabbage. It was one of the things that I had to buy in veg-wise. And what I did for dessert on Christmas Day was poached pears. I've never done poached pears before, but realised at the very last minute that I didn't have a dessert, and that I did have a bottle of mulled wine. So I poached the pears in the mulled wine and sugar. Oh my god, delicious. That's going to be like my new tradition. I'm going to do yeah, mulled wine poached pears every Christmas, and I had it with the vegan only brandy cream as well. So good, so good. But my top tip is that you have a lot of the liquid left after you've poached the pears, and you reduce some of it down so it's like a sauce over the pears, but there's still quite a lot left. Put it in the red cabbage. Oh my god, so good. Even Liam, who couldn't hardly taste anything because of his cold, he was like, this red cabbage is amazing. Like, I know. Yeah, so that's, I'll link the recipe that I used below and how I adapted it. Right, I need to brave the rain now to get down to the shed to get to the perlite. So yeah, wish me luck. There we go. I'm putting it on quite thick. I think it says 1/4 inch to bury onion seed. I'm doing the same for the leeks and spring onions, so hopefully that's correct. But, yeah, I would have covered these just with soil if I had nice fine compost, but I don't. Right, let's just pat those down. Where's my glove? I want perlite hands. And finish with just a light watering. Right, so I'll pop those on this tray and they can go inside. And what did the packet say? 12 to 14 days? 14 to 28 days. Okay. Right, here we go. Right, I think the wild garlic can wait for another day. Just put these in my lovely big pockets there. And yeah, it's really coming down now. So I'm going to go in and eat my 4th Christmas dinner of this week. Oh well, yeah, it's really bad out now. Okay, I'm going to catch you later in the week. Bye. Morning, it's Friday and Dory's just had a lovely walk with her cousins, so you might recognise Lottie and Teddy, but there was also Winston this time. I think it's the first time all 4 of them have been out together, but I thought being that there was a tree down on that park as well, we would head over to the plot just have a little look at what's going on, what's still standing. Apologies, I've still got my cold and don't really want to be snotty on the video, so we'll keep this fairly short. Looks like these polytunnels and structures are okay. The trees in the little community orchard are fine, but look at the flooding. This is the area that was cleared, so it's only got wood in now, but I need to pick one of these logs to inoculate with mushroom spores that I got from King Seeds. So yeah, that's on the list for the new year. And then coming up to our plots, everything looks in order, I would say. My arches are still up. Check this out. I noticed last week, but I didn't have time to fit it in the video, but here, these are the field beans coming up, and they seem to have had good germination. I mean, yeah, I think they're between all the brassicas in this bed. That's great. Oh, Dory immediately stands on them all. Thank you, Dory. Every time I come down here, I'm faced with these brassicas that never made it into the beds. I'm still tempted to use them a bit like a green manure and just stick them in when I clear some of these beds. I mean, if nothing else, they'll rot in the ground and provide organic matter. Now, these brassicas that don't seem to be doing anything, Julie said in the comments that it may be purple sprouting broccoli, in which case I am really chuffed and very much looking forward to what they produce. What do the rest of you think? Do they look purple sprouting broccoli-ish? I have grown it before in the home garden. We had some in the spring, but they were much smaller plants than that. Oh yeah, I really didn't dig up all of these potatoes, did I? I can see them on the surface. Whoops. Look, there's one. Oh dear, you're going to be a volunteer potato now. What do you think, Dory? Oh, now this is interesting. Remember I put this rhubarb crown in the ground. I transplanted it from the home garden. Well, it seems happy enough in that it's growing, but this area just last week was completely flooded. And I remember Katrina at Homegrown Garden saying that she lost her rhubarb crown because of overwatering and it got too waterlogged. So, but I mean, that looks happy at the moment. I wonder how those rhubarbs are doing at the front. I mentioned that I have 4 rhubarbs now on the plot, which is ridiculous, I admit. I can't see these ones at all. They must have died down. The raspberry canes are still there. I do need to, these are autumn fruiting raspberries, so I do need to cut down these canes. Oh, Dory, there's your ball. How did it get over there? Foxes. And that's the big crown that I got off of Eugene's plot when he left the site. And that one looks fine. A little bit of growth in the middle there. I have to say, I really like the plot in winter. It's so quiet down here. Nobody really comes down here in the winter, so you have the place to yourself most of the time. And yeah, on a day like this, which is actually still, which is a novelty at the moment, to have some stillness. It's really peaceful. It does kind of fill me with anxiety a little bit to look at how much needs doing. We've only done the 3 beds at the front so far, and that means there are still 5 to go. Not to mention all of what's going on back here. These compost bays that I still haven't taken down, all the material that I've collected here, which I haven't put in the compost heaps, not just because I'm incredibly lazy with that, but because I actually want to use that material for the dead hedge that I want to make. I'm really quite excited about that. It's definitely something that I want to do over the winter. Yeah, but despite everything that needs doing, still got that thing that, like, this is a special place and it's mine and I can't believe I got it. So it's been a full year, but I still feel that. I mean, to sound terribly corny, I still have that thing as well of, like, not necessarily feeling that every time I'm here I have to do something. Like, it's okay to just be. There we go. A little New Year's stillness and serenity on the plot. Okay, nice though that is. I should probably not be sitting in the cold for too long when I get home. Before I go, Mark said I could help myself to his beetroot. So let's have a look if there's anything worth taking. Oh, it's looking a bit raggy. Let's have a look. Let's get in there. Some of them are those cylindrical ones. There are a lot of leaf, not too much root, but yeah, there's something on there. Let's have a look for another. Oh, that one's not too bad. Oh, there's quite a nice one. Ah, not bad. There we go. A dog bag full of beetroot. I think I'll pickle that. So I've got pickled beetroot to have with my bubble and squeak That's how we eat bubble and squeak in our family, with pickled beetroot. Right, I'm gonna head home. I'll catch you later. Welcome to the home garden. It is Saturday, it's the afternoon. The morning was pretty miserable, so I just walked the dog and had lunch. It did brighten up, but it's gone overcast again. However, I am determined to get these bulbs in before New Year. I've only got a few left. Just a few. Just a few. So I'm going to put those into the home garden. Oh, and I also found these random ones in the lean-to, so I'll stick those in as well. But while I do that, I'm going to send you back to yesterday when I had a little discovery in the back garden. Totally impromptu filming right now, but got to show you this. I've just been shopping, and when I dropped Mum off, she said, "Oh, I bought this massive garlic. Do you want a couple of the cloves to plant?" I says, "Oh yeah, we'll give them a go." So I was just looking which bed to put them in, and look what I noticed. Ochre. There is ochre in this bed. Let's have a look, Dory. You have a look. So the foliage here must have Look at the size of that. Oh my God, and it's a pink one. Oh, actually, I need a fork. So the foliage, so I was saying the foliage must have completely died off. I didn't even know that this one was in here. But it just shows if you leave them a little bit longer. This is a lesson learned, isn't it? Because look at the size of that. That is way bigger than any of the ones that I harvested before. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm so pleased that they're pink ones as well. Oh, what a special treat. We can have them on New Year's Eve. Oh, not many, but I'm really chuffed with that. Oh, I feel a bit bad as well though, because I couldn't send any to Danny because I ate them all. But now I could have, and he's already bought his. Oh well. Oh, I'm just really pleased though that they're pink ones. I'll put these, I think, I definitely put that really big one in storage for next year. Oh no, actually, it's got a little bit of damage. Oh well, I'll have to eat it. That one looks pretty good though, that could store. What a little nice surprise at the end of the year. And that ochre was delicious. I just did it like I did before, lightly steamed and then roasted with some garlic oil spray. And for those of you who think they taste like water chestnuts, no, they don't. Maybe when they're raw, they're quite like that, but when they're cooked, they're just like a really fluffy, lemony potato. Anyway, I saved 4 of the tubers. I put those into storage. Hopefully they'll store okay. And yeah, I'm really excited about having a whole bed of ochre next year. Now, while you're watching that, and a little bit more time, I got almost all of those bulbs in, so I'm really happy about that. The last ones that I've got are one last pack of tulips, but you're gonna have to wait till the end of the video to see where they're going. And the other one is these crocus, the saffron crocus, and I've just opened the packet and look, oh no, oh my God, they're actually flowering in the packet. Can you see that? There are little flowers on them. Whoops. Right, let's feel. They are firm. They are firm. The shoots tell me that they are still alive and happy and healthy, but just desperate to get into some soil. So I'm going to put these into a pot, I think. But what's their spacing? Planting depth 5 to 10 centimeters. It doesn't say about spacing on there. Hang on, there was another little leaflet. Ooh. Almost slipped over there. Right, here is the leaflet. Spacing. Plant from August to October. We know we're not doing that. Water well after planting, ensuring the water soaks right down to the bulbs. Okay, so that's quite different to other bulbs. Okay, I might have to Google the spacing. Anyway, we're going to have to come back and do these because Mark's just texted and invited me to the garden centre, and it's the Dobbies one, which has currently got the soil conditioner reduced to £3, less than 50%. So I'm going to fill up his boot with it if he lets me. Okay, so I'm heading to the garden centre. When we get back, we're going to do this. Oh, but I've got to get my bread out the oven as well before we do that. Are these going to be okay if I just leave them here in the greenhouse? It'll be fine. They've survived a lot already. Go on, back in there you go. Right, oh, I know, better actually put some less muddy clothes on. All right, I'll catch you later. Okay, I'm back, a few quid lighter, because I bought my first lot of potatoes. These are the Sarpo Mira much beloved by Hugh Richards, and so this is one of the varieties I wanted to try out for this year. The other one is Orla, but they didn't have that one in. The other thing I got, and this is how I know I'm still poorly, is I managed to buy 2 watercresses. I must have forgot to put one back. Anyway, I've got a lot of watercress now. In fact, I've got 1,500 seeds of watercress. And the other thing I got was a cucumber, and I got a gherkin one because I so enjoyed fermenting my cucumbers last summer. So this is a proper gherkin one, and I found this morning when I was looking through my seed folders that I actually only have 1 cucumber, which is market more. So I needed another cucumber. I needed it. The other thing I got is 4 bags of this soil enricher. Okay, this is on the recommendation of Denise, who said that they had brilliant results with this last year. So I'm going for it on that recommendation. And I'm going to put that on these 2 long beds, which are the ones which I keep saying I feel like the soil needs amending. I'm going to add some of my own compost onto these as well as some liquid amendments. But this is where I planted my garlic, and rather excitingly, there it is finally coming up. So that's 1 elephant, that's 2 elephant, and you can probably just, there it is, Dory, there you go, 1 elephant over there, and then this is one of the other small garlics coming up. Anyway, really pleased to see that that's actually shooting, because it seemed to have taken a while. But on the new bed, where I've only just put the garlic in, there was already some shoots coming up. But having said that, it could be spring bulbs, because this whole area of lawn, all along here and here, I planted bulbs before I put in the raised beds, and they do, yeah, that's definitely a tulip or some daffs in there. There we go. Yeah, they just come up, so, which is fine, I'm all for it. But I think maybe some of these are the garlic already coming up, and the other bed that I put garlic in is this tall one, which is going to be the carrot bed, and that is definitely what's coming up just there. See, I planted them all around the edge as a sort of barrier from carrot fly, like I did last year. Seemed to work, I think, but they've come up super quick compared to those ones in the long bed, which may be something weather related, maybe because the garlic was already sprouting by the time I got it in with those other ones. But yeah, I still feel like something in that bed is not quite right in those long ones. So let's hope that that soil amendment does the trick. Okay, so back to our crocuses. What I was hoping was that I would pick up just some ordinary compost, because I don't think I've got quite enough for this pot, but I didn't. So I'm going to plant them anyway, and maybe I'll top them up with a bit more compost if I get some. We'll see if we've got enough. These, we still didn't work out how far apart these need to be, did we? Right, let's Google. Right, I'm going with 3 inches apart. What's that, like 10 to 15 centimetres? I'm going to put the light on it here, actually. Yeah, I don't know what time it is. What time is it? Oh, 3:30, and it's already quite dark. Right, I have already got a pot with some compost in. I did that before I got called away to the garden centre. Now we've got hilarious. I wonder with these ones that have flowered, if there's actually any stamens to collect. Oh, there is a bit. There we go. Can you see? You're not going to be able to see that. Focus. No. Oh, let me put it on my hand. There we go. Saffron. Saffron. So the sprout, oh my goodness. The sprouts on these are rather long. So I figure, yeah, so they're just sort of coming out of the pot. Let's give them a thing. What did I say? 3 inches. Wow. These are like when you chit your potatoes for too long. I think that's more like 2 inches. I think I'm going to have some of these left. So if we do some in the container, and then some in the garden, and we'll see which ones do better. Okay, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the container. What did it say? We have to water them well. Oh yeah, I think we've just about got enough soil there. Okay, perfect. So I'll put some grit on top. Oh. Using up everything I've got today. That's it for the grit. Okay, let's gosh, let's think about, so they want full sun or very light shade. I'm struggling now. I'm struggling to find places to put them in. Perhaps I'll put them in one of the actual beds. Oh, it seems like a waste of space though. Could you plant something alongside them while you're waiting for them? Because they don't come up until, they don't flower until sort of October, November time. Oh, I know a good spot. Let's put some around the base of the mulberry tree. That's a good idea. Happy New Year! I'm actually caught up with you now, and it is January the 1st. Happy 2024, and yeah, what a year it's been. I started 2023 having just got the allotment and thinking this is going to be the year of the allotment, and it totally has been, you know. Some of the highlights is that I got the runner-up for Best Newcomer. I did so well at the horticultural show and really enjoyed it. We've had such lovely harvests, which is not to say that there haven't been plenty of failures along the way, but who said it to me this week? Failures, opportunities to learn. And there's lots that I have learned and lots that I want to implement for 2024, which is basically going to be year of the allotment 2.0. In terms of sort of how I'm thinking about the next year, I mean, a couple of my mottos that I used last year were roots in the ground, just wanted to get roots in the ground, and my other one that I started with was go big or go home. And I think this year I do want to be a bit more strategic, and I was thinking this morning actually, perhaps a nice motto for 2024 for me might be less fervour, more saviour. You know, less stress and frenzy and worrying about running out of time and massive to-do lists. I'm sure I still have to-do lists. But also, like I was at the allotment earlier in the video, just savouring the moments, you know, taking time to just be and to really enjoy the whole process. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going with for this year. I did have another one. What was it? Oh yeah, I remember. It was don't grow masses and masses of cosmos. I mean, grow it, let it grow. But last year I sowed so much cosmos, and it put everything else behind because I ran out of trays, I didn't have enough space, and it was all because of bloody cosmos. So yeah, no cosmos being sown this year. And I've already mentioned in the video, I want to sow things in a more timely fashion. I want to sow things in better quality compost. And yeah, I think one of the things that set me back this year was waiting for the ideal time. And by the time I got to the ideal point, I was too late, really. So I think, yeah, even if, it's pouring with rain or we're due a cold snap or something like that, you can't just keep putting it off forever, because there rarely is an ideal moment. And as I say, if the ideal moment does come up, it's usually too late. Anyway, you might be wondering where I am. I often talk about my 3 growing spaces, but actually I have this secret 4th growing space. And here it is. Now, you might think this is not a growing space that seems to reflect my gardening, i.e. it's not completely full of stuff. And basically, if I had my way, I would fill this whole space with raised beds. But actually, it doesn't get a lot of sun. And this is actually Liam's garden, and he wouldn't let me, I don't think, fill it with raised beds. But what he has let me do is plant up a little corner where there was some soil that was exposed and just looked a bit messy and wasn't doing anything, and I put some plants in it, and he actually really liked it. So my last bag of bulbs, this is where they're going. So this is his space. He's got a couple of trees, one over here, which is a goldenrod, and one in the corner here. You can just see the skeleton of, which is one of my aunt's silver birches. We all have a silver birch. This was his Christmas present last year, which was some bamboo. Oh, I probably should have moved the rubbish that comes over from the lane. But yeah, we put some bamboo in to sort of cover up this fence a little bit. It's non-invasive bamboo. And I think the Christmas before that, I got him an acer. And gosh, these are slow growing. But he loves the acers in my garden. And this is the blood glut, I think it's called. And it has red leaves in the autumn time. So it's a gorgeous acer. And then his little border. So he's got the silver birch, and clearly this is not a pretty border, but it's a work in progress. But of course he's got a kale. I put a kale in. I put some celery in there, and he's got an Austerian tree cabbage as well. There's some chives there, and these 2 sorry things here are actually $1 billion princess fuchsias. So they're perennial fuchsias, and they survived those really cold temperatures in December last year. So this has got its own little kind of microclimate, whereas the perennial fuchsias in my home garden succumbed to that frost. Anyway, I'm going to get these bulbs in, and then we're off for a New Year's Day walk in the peaks. So I'm wishing you all the best for 2024. Take care, and let's have an amazing growing season together.